So I'm 19 years old and I get this job at a shitty little station in a shitty little town in northern Arizona. Now, the town was fine, but it was nothing like I was used to. And I get my first day when I'm going to be on the air. And I'm young, so I don't know exactly what I'm going to say. And then I quickly realize I don't really know how to run the equipment. I've been pretty adept at using different types of equipment, but when I walked into this control room, I realized this was the shittiest jerry rig shit I've ever seen. So it's not going to work like what I'm used to. So I'm sitting behind the control board trying to think of what I'm going to say and trying to figure out how to run this fucking board. And as I'm sitting there, a woman, maybe a few years older than I do, comes in the room and sits down at one of the tables in front of the board where I'm sitting. And I'm thinking to myself, how the fuck did you get in here? Who are you? I mean, Jesus Christ. People don't just walk into control rooms. There's usually security. There's usually locks. Not in this place. Again, remember, it's a fucking trailer hooked to a cinder block building, and there is no security. So I look at this woman. I go, who are you? For all I know, she's the boss's cousin or some fucking thing. And she starts talking, and that's where the problem happened. Because this woman was very loud and very boisterous, and it was weird. She was a thin woman, but she always wore muumuus. I called her the loud muumu girl. Anyway, she was sitting there talking, and she was explaining to me how she used to date the guy that I took over for on the radio station. I said, oh, okay, cool. And then she's so forward, she starts insinuating that since I took his job on the air, maybe I should take his job with her. And I'm thinking, I can't even figure out this board. I'm not into dating right at this point. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not fucking doing that. And she seemed kind of put off by it, maybe surprised that this kid, 19, was kind of turning her down. But I had other shit I had to worry about. So she took off, and from time to time I would see her around town, and she'd say something to me, and I'd try to avoid her. And it was going around like that a lot. I was trying to avoid her because I just didn't want to get in that conversation. So I finally find out that my apartment is now available. I can move into my apartment. And as I'm loading stuff out of my Vega, everything I own is in a fucking Vega. I think I said Maverick before, same car, but it's a Vega. And so I'm loading everything in, and as I'm walking to go to the door for the first time, I am accosted by about three women, maybe in their 20s, maybe in their early 30s, and I'm 19 at the time. And one of those people is the loud muumu girl. I'm going, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is going on here? And it turns out she lived next door to where I am. So I'm going, oh, this is going to be fucking beautiful. I'm going to be harassed all day and every night. And frankly, for the most part, until I put a stop to it, that was the case. Now, I've told you before that when I lived there, it was a lot like a sitcom because I had her living to the left of me. And every time I came home, there was always some comment or always some kind of harassment with her and her buddies, her teacher buddies. She was a teacher. But there was another guy living next to me on the other side. Now, this guy was just new to town. He was a new police officer. His name was Andrew Z. Gertz. I remember it specifically. Now, this guy was like a darker complected, chubby Barney Fife. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And here was the problem. He liked the loud muumu girl. I didn't like her. He liked her. She didn't like him. And these motherfuckers would be walking into my apartment day and night to talk or whatever the fuck they wanted to do. Now, Andrew Z. Gertz was a clown, to say the least. He wasn't a bad guy, but he was a clown. He should not have been a cop. He should not have been able to have a gun. One day, he comes into the apartment all excited, and he's waving a gun around. I go, Andrew, what the fuck are you doing? He said, I got a new gun. It's pretty badass. He starts waving around. I said, Andrew, put that fucking gun down. I've had gun training. Put it down, or I'm going to kick your ass. He goes, you can't kick my ass. I go, I'm pretty sure I can kick your ass. He goes, I'm a cop. I said, not when you're in my apartment waving a gun around. You're just a guy with a gun. I will kick your ass. He goes, oh, okay, sorry, man. He puts it back in his holster. But he comes in trying to get advice from me how to hook up with a girl on the other side who's bugging the shit out of me. I go, how do I get in this fucking mess? But to give you an idea what Andrew Z. Gertz was like, one day there were some transients in the neighborhood. There was a guy who was drunk sitting under my window of my bedroom in the back parking lot. So I go to Andrew, and I say, Andrew, you're a cop. You got a transient back there. Could you clear him out? They're kind of loud, making a mess and all that stuff. He goes, no problem, man. I'm a cop. I said, I know you're a cop. Just clear him out if you would, please. So I see him walk around the building, and I go to my back window, and it freaks me the fuck out. This poor guy's just sitting there drunk, and Andrew Z. Gertz gets out in a shooting stance, pulls his gun, and points it at the guy and goes, get the fuck out of here. I'll blow your motherfucking head off. And I'm going, that's a little strong. And then I realize the gun is not only pointed at the guy sitting in front of my window, it's pointed at me. So I get the fuck out of there, and I go, Andrew, just tone it down a little bit. Just send him away. You don't have to threaten his life or anything like that. So we calmed him down. The guy left. It was all good. Now, Andrew Z. Gertz showed up in this town about the same time I did, so we were both rookies in our respective jobs. But Andrew got fired after about 3 months. And I'll tell you why Andrew got fired. Because somehow, some way, in those first 3 months, in this little town of Holbrook, Arizona, he totaled out 3 fucking police cars. 3 of them. Now, I don't know how he totaled out all of them, but the one story I heard is absolutely hilarious. In this town, the grocery store was Safeway. In the back of Safeway, there's a ramp that goes up that trucks can go up and unload stuff, right? Well, it only has a ramp on one side and then it's flat. And then the other side, it drops all the way down. For whatever reason, Andrew didn't know that. He drove up the ramp over the flat part and dropped the car from about 10 feet from that ramp into the ground, destroying that car. And that was the one that ended it for Andrew Z. Gertz. I don't know where he ended up, but I almost guarantee you he's not a cop anymore.